All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Ju, and I'm here with Master Ju.
Hello there, Mr. Ju.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going okay.
Just okay?
Yeah.
All right.
This week, we're going to be taking a look at the jumping in Chungmu. I guess you also see it in Sawmill.
Oh.
And then, we do have some variations as well in like Oji that we can also cover, right?
Okay. Talking about the jumping, the blind side piercing kick, the jump on that?
No,
or are you talking about
the guarding block, so the 360
the
jump.
360 landing into the L stance.
Right.
That's
Now-
a difficult technique.
Yeah, no,
That's a difficult
it is
technique.
tough, right? Because you have to spin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now, I guess the question is, if you look at those three different patterns, and then you could also throw Sosan in there. So in Chungmu, you stay in the same spot. But
Right.
you have to spin all the way around. In Oji, you don't stay in the same spot, but you don't spin around. So you just jump backwards and then execute, right?
That's right.
And then you have Sosan, where you're actually spinning and jumping backwards,
right.
right? But that one's only a 180-degree turn. Why might we do this spin?
Well, let's take a look at why do we jump anyway?
Okay, yeah, we could start there.
Start with the jumping. So most of the jumps are really the knees have to come up.
Yeah.
It's really like avoiding something. Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't really have to jump up to gain some distance.
You could slide.
You could kind of slide.
Yeah, you could skip.
And so why are we bringing our knees up? It's usually because we're trying to avoid something like in Chungmu where you're doing that 360 jump and you're actually avoiding someone with maybe a bow staff and he's trying to take your legs out. So you've got to jump up. I see a lot of times students, they jump, but they don't bring the knees up.
Yeah.
And so that's something that
Defeats the purpose.
defeats the purpose of
Right.
the pattern.
Yeah.
And so how high does that knee have to come up? It's got to come up towards the chest.
Yeah, you don't want the heels going to the bottom. Well, that's
Right.
how you get the feet get caught, right, underneath.
So there are different applications. Like you had mentioned, one is jumping up 360 degree and landing. Why would we do that? One was just jumping straight up and just landing. And the other one is jumping and moving away from an opponent.
Right.
And well, obviously, the one that's moving away, that just kind of makes sense. It's like you're doing a flying back kick. You could do it forward or you could do it backwards. Right?
Right.
Why do I retreat and throw the kick? Because someone's coming at you, and so you jump and you throw the back kick.
Yeah.
Or in this case, you're jumping and you're avoiding the attack, and then you land, and you're not actually executing a technique. Right?
Okay.
So maybe it's because you had maybe another attack is coming, so you have to block.
Okay.
It's not always that application. Sometimes we end up in certain situation in a ready position. And in order to get into that ready position, we execute a technique,
Right.
right? And so it doesn't mean that you have to block. It's just the avoidance of it. Then you also have the one where you just jump straight up. Again, same thing. The attack may not be coming at you, so he's sweeping your legs, you just jump straight up and you land. But in Chungmu, that's a little bit different though, isn't it? Because the application does show where they have a bow staff and they're trying to sweep the person's leg. You could just jump straight up to avoid that and then land, but instead we do a 360 turn. So why do that? That's a good question. I kind of think of it really more like maybe you might have multiple opponents because Taekwondo it's not about being about one person or it's not about just performing techniques, but it could be possible other applications. So
Right.
maybe there's multiple opponents, and what you might want to do is jump up and clear the area, kind of like the way a basketball player when he grabs a rebound and he's like swinging around. Nobody wants to be around someone swinging their arms around; they might get hit.
Right.
And so it's kind of like clearing that area. I kind of think of it probably as that's what we're really trying to do, or maybe it is to jump, spin around, and look around and see what's around you. I guess our brains would process that. As you're spinning around, you might notice that there's another guy on this side of you or behind you. I've heard that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the clearing the area seems like it'd make the most sense. I think trying to see if there's somebody around you is would be
Too much.
difficult. Yeah, I mean, isn't it easier to look this way than look back this way?
But I can't turn my head all the way
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
like that.
well, yeah. Well, you'd be moving, right? So,
Yeah, so that's what I think is what we're trying to do here. The hard part is actually jumping and landing in the same spot.
yeah,
How do you practice that?
just practicing it.
Just practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to practice it. You know, just start off with some markers on the floor and jump and try to land on that. If
Right.
you want to get really good, though, go get some beams,
Yeah,
kind of like gymnastics.
right, right.
Jump up and land.
on the beam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you miss, ouch, 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 ouch.
I think I'm okay.
You're okay.
I think I'm okay.
You don't want to do that one? Someone's
Well-
going to do it.
I could probably do it. But if you miss it
It's not going to
and
feel good.
both legs on each side, it's,
Well, you've ever seen like gymnastics, on those beam things, and they're doing flips, and then they miss, and
well, I actually don't think the guys do the beam.
oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's true.
Probably for a certain reason. They do like the bar, they do the pommel horse, they do.
Well, the pommel horse, I think their legs straddles the device. That could not feel good.
Yeah, but I think it's wider, so it's more like riding a horse, right?
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. But okay, I can buy that.
Yeah, I don't actually think they do the beam.
You're
I'm starting
right.
to think about
You're
that.
right.
Yeah.
I don't think I think you're right. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen it.
Anyways, so yeah. Any other thoughts? So let's finish up with Sosan, right? You're actually jumping, moving back, and turning
Right.
180, right? And so what kind of scenario are we looking at for that one?
Well, I think when you're jumping and turning like that, I think of it as kind of like you're taking you could do it like stepping. Like kind of think of like guange. You execute a front snap kick, you set the foot down, and then you turn. And then you execute the block, right? And so why do you do that? It's kind of like I took a step. Well, so we look at the guange, and we're looking at that particular technique. So why do I turn one way versus another? That's kind of like different types of stepping, right? Step turn number 1, step turn number 2, 3, and then there's double stepping. And why do we turn? We can turn front leg, back leg, so forth. Pivot on the front foot. That's I think a different topic in itself, but I think that it is related to that. So I turn certain ways probably because one, maybe I'm too close to a wall. So I have to, if I'm trying to avoid that wall, and I've got to turn a certain way. Maybe it's because I have multiple opponents and I want to see as I turn where my opponents are. I don't want to turn my back to my opponents.
Right.
So I turn a certain way to do that. So I could turn left and right. So why do one versus the other? That's kind of the reason why I think you do certain turns. And I think that's true here. You don't always have to do a step turn. It's the same idea. The jumping is very similar to like if you're stepping or skipping, it's just that you're in the air. So it's a jump turn in a way. But
Right.
the principles are the same. So if I'm jumping up, I'm moving backwards, and I'm turning a certain way, maybe because I want to keep an eye on that particular area. Not doesn't mean I have to look. I'm just kind of keeping my body in a particular area where I feel like I need to protect myself. We don't want our back exposed to areas that are of any danger, right? So if I'm thinking about self-defense, I'm always going to try to go to their back. I don't want that person to go to my back. So I've got to try to cut them off if they're trying to do something like that.
Right. All right, well, let us know you guys' thoughts on these types of jumps that we have. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.